Weapons are without a doubt one of the most important aspects of Skyblock, but with hundreds of options to choose from, weapon progression can feel pretty overwhelming. Whether you're completing a dungeon floor or just teleporting around, weapons offer much more than just raw damage. Today, we're diving into the best weapons for utility and damage so you can make the most out of your Skyblock profile. Let's start off with Jamie's very own Rogue Sword. This will be our first utility weapon. It comes with an amazing ability that gives you 100 speed for 30 seconds, and it only costs 50 mana. That speed is super noticeable, and really helps with mobility. While we won't be using this for damage, it's perfect for utility. Damage-wise, we'll move on to the next weapon on the list. The Undead Sword, which you can grab from the weaponsmith in the hub for just 100 coins. It has a fantastic ability that deals 100% more damage to all undead mobs, including zombies and skeletons. This makes it a great choice as you'll be fighting plenty of these to progress to the Dwarven Mines. Next up, we have a pickaxe. Yes, you heard me right. Our next weapon is a pickaxe. You can pretty much use any old pickaxe for this, and with the pickaxe we're going to be taking on the Glaciate Walkers, which take increased damage from pickaxes. You should be able to one-tap them. Feel free to farm Glaciate Walkers for some pretty easy combat XP. Next weapon is the Aspect of the End. It gives you a solid damage boost and comes with an amazing teleportation ability. Don't forget to put transmission tuners on it, as each one increases the teleportation distance by 1 block. You can also apply ultimate wise to it. Overall, this is an amazing item and you'll be keeping it for a long time. The next weapon is the Aspect of the Dragons. Priced around 1 million coins, it is an absolute steal. It does great damage and comes with an amazing ability. You can obtain it by killing dragons in the end, or you can just buy one from the auction house. I recommend the second option if you're not on an Iron Man profile. You need to pair it with Dragon Fuse gloves for maximum damage. Before we move on to the next weapon on the list, I want to ask you guys to subscribe. Once we hit 500 subscribers, I'll be launching a Discord server where you can ask me questions, join me for dungeons, or fish with me. Okay, let's continue. Now, let's focus on dungeons for a bit. I recommend using your Aspect of the Dragons until you get a floor 3 completion, then upgrading to a Hyper Cleaver. This thing is a monster, basically a budget Hyperion. It'll carry you all the way up to floor 6 without any issues at all. You can buy it from Ophelia for 800,000 coins and the Super Cleaver. In my opinion, you should definitely skip the Livy Dagger. It's just worse than the Hyper Cleaver in dungeons, mainly because Cleaver has such a good splash damage passive, and their single target DPS is pretty much the same. Now, let's move on to the next real upgrade. The next weapon on our list is actually 2 weapons. You'll need to choose one. First, we have the Felthorn Reaper. It does amazing damage and has a pretty solid ability that slashes in an arc in front of you, dealing 135% damage. The ability also has 5 charges, regenerating every 4 seconds. The second option is the Bouquet of Lies. It does a bit less single hit damage, but its ability is fantastic for clearing dungeons and spawning Slayer bosses. However, it does cost a percentage of your HP each time you use it, so you need to be careful. Both of these weapons require a floor 6 completion. You've all heard of it, one of the most popular weapons in the game, the Juju Shortbow. This bow is an amazing bow both inside and outside of dungeons. It's a short bow, so it shoots instantly and the arrows deal splash damage. It's great for grinding floor 7 and maybe the first few floors of Master Mode, though I wouldn't recommend it. Overall, it's a fantastic upgrade and the second best bow in the game. The only downside is that it requires Enderman Slayer level 5 to use, which can be a bit tricky to obtain. Personally, I'd recommend getting carries for it, since the value it brings is just so high. At this point, you should consider upgrading from your Aspect of the End to the Aspect of the Void. While this isn't strictly required, it's incredibly helpful because of the Ether Warp ability, which allows you to teleport much further and even choose the exact block you teleport to. To unlock this, you need to apply the Ether Warp Conduit using the Ether Warp Merger on your Aspect of the Void. Another great feature of this weapon is that it's a shovel, not a sword like the Aspect of the End, so you don't have to deal with the annoying blocking animation. Ether Warp isn't just useful for dungeons though, it's also essential for mining for money and is just a handy ability overall. After the Juju Bow, you have 2 choices, go straight for the Hyperion or the Terminator. Yes, I know it's a huge jump in price, but that just shows how good the Juju Bow is. If you don't have enough money, you can go check out my money making methods video. It really depends on what you're focusing on. If you're mainly doing dungeons, I'd recommend getting the Terminator first. It will allow you to progress into Master Mode, which is great for gaining Catacombs XP. On the other hand, if you're more focused on progression outside of dungeons, I'd suggest going for the Hyperion. The Hyperion will unlock a ton of content in the Crimson Isles, including the first 2 tiers of Kudra, lava fishing, which makes up to 50 million an hour, and it will let you kill Crimson Isle mini-bosses with ease. It will also help with Slayers, thanks to its insane healing ability. You can even use it to cheese Enderman Slayer or 1-tap tier for Tarantulas. It's perfect for farming Bestiary and for Diana's mythological ritual event. So, Terminator for dungeon progression and Hyperion for basically everything else. You'll eventually need both, but this is how you should decide which one to get first. As for the requirements, to use the Hyperion, you need a floor 7 completion, which you should have by now. And the Terminator requires Enderman Slayer level 7. When you start doing Master Mode, you can also opt for an Estrella instead of the Hype, because it gives more defense. Please don't forget to buy talismans along the way. I do not want to see any of my viewers running a Terminator with like 300 MP. Hyperion is a bit more lenient and can work with lower MP, but don't use that as an excuse to run it with like 150 magical power. Before you get the Terminator, you should have at least 1000 magical power to use it properly. That's because Terminator divides your crit chance by 4, so to use it effectively, you need 400% crit chance. Magical power is extremely important. It contributes more to your damage than any weapon can. The weapon itself only makes up about 20% of your damage. The other 80% comes from your armor, pets, and magical power. Let's talk about some utility items. First, the Ragnarok Axe, a very useful utility item that can increase your strength for 10 seconds after popping the ability. Useful for face keeping Enderman Slayer and M7 splitting dragons. These are just the 2 most common uses. It can be used for pretty much anything if you need more damage. If you are rich, put Chimera on it and use it with a golden dragon. Next up, Daedalus Axe. Amazing weapon for magic find, copies your active pet stats. You can pair it with a Griffin pet, Black Cat, and the best option, Golden Dragon. Jerry Gun. It's useful for getting crystals in phase 1 floor 7 and Master Mode floor 7. Probably won't work well if you have high ping. Next up, we have the Wither Cloak Sword. It's an amazing defense weapon, has a great ability that makes you immune to damage, but it costs 20% of your mana. Don't forget to put Ultimate Wise on it. It can be used to cheese Campfire Trials. It is also amazing for surviving terminal phase in F7 and M7. It can be used to increase Archer's DPS when killing Necron, because slimy arrows bounce off of you when you have the ability turned on. Next up, Bonzo Staff. Great movement item, you can use it to get crystals in phase 1 of F7 and M7, and for movement in the terminal phase. We also have the Healing Wands. They are great and mostly used for Slayers, and they can also be pretty useful in floor 6 boss phase to help survive the Terracottas. Now, Mana Flux. Decent boost to health and mana regen, useful for Slayers and boss fights in dungeons. Overflux. It's just a better Mana Flux. Don't forget to put Mana Disintegrators on it to make it cheaper to use. It's great for Slayers, specifically Enderman, can also be used in Kudra if you don't own an SOS Flare. Now, SOS Flare, the best deployable utility. Cheapest mana cost and gives best mana regen, amazing for Kudra and for Slayers. Now, let's go on to the Slayer weapons. For Revenant Slayer, you should just use the Revenant Falchion until you hit Zombie Slayer level 6, then you can switch to the Reaper Falchion, which you can use till level 9, but if you want to increase your efficiency, go for the Axe of the Shredded Zombie Slayer level 8. For Tarantula Slayer, you can pretty much use any weapon, like any melee weapon that you have that can be Bouquet of Lies, Felton Reaper, or even Aspect of the Dragons, but I wouldn't go for level 9 before you unlock the Hyperion because it just makes it so much faster. For Wolf Slayer, you have 2 options. You can either use Pooch Sword with Mastiff Armor, or you can use your main melee damage weapon. You can also still use your Hyperion to one-shot the pups and for faster spawning, but I'm not even sure if Hyperion spawns faster now when they change the Slayer weapons to have combat wisdom. Enderman Slayer, everyone's favorite. Use the Void Walker Katana until you hit level 3, then you can upgrade to the Void Edge Katana. After you hit level 5, upgrade to the Vorpal Katana, and finally at level 6, Atom Split Katana. I would not do tier 4 Enderman bosses without the Atom Split, if you're going the melee route. You can also go mage and use the Hyperion. It's not that hard to chase the boss, but your times will be a lot slower. On Blaze Slayer. Use Fire Dust and Twilight Daggers until you hit level 4. Then upgrade to the Kindle Bane and Mod Edge Daggers. You can use these two for tier 4 Blaze, but it will be much slower and harder than with tier 3 daggers. So you should upgrade to tier 3 as soon as you get level 6. Now, for the best weapon in the game, it's the Aspect of the Jerry. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.